Well, hell y'all doing? I got another knife review here, or at least a first look. This is a company I am not familiar with at all. It's Samior, I think. There's the logo there thing for you. Doesn't have anything labeled, but it's supposed to be D2. Uh, Found this guy randomly on Amazon and thought it looked kind of interesting. It's because you really don't see carbon fiber too often on budget knives. And I guess it kind of makes sense why, as it's not the highest quality carbon fiber. There's quite a few voids and whatnot in there, but it still certainly looks acceptable from a budget standpoint. And we got green G10 over there on the side. The fit and finish of this thing actually seems pretty darn nice, and it's got some decent action right out the box. It seems to have some nice polished liners and all that sort of good stuff there. So that's interesting. Blade pin goes to the handle scales. And yeah, it's got that generic-y kind of pocket clip. I'm not super thrilled with it, but yeah, I don't hate it either. One thing I will say is that it uses T6 screws for everything but the blade pivot. So, having that nice T8 hardware that some of the knives that I take a look at just doesn't apply here. But it's fine, I suppose, or at least acceptable, because so many other companies are still doing that. But yeah, it looks like we got that pocket screw, or that pocket clip. One of the screws there goes through to this barrel spacer. And then we have another barrel spacer to hold on to the other side of this little G10 end piece with little lanyard hole thing there. So I'm just curious because I haven't opened this up at all. Yep, that has certainly loosened the scale for sure. All right. So now I'll go ahead and interesting. It actually screws out from the show side. I don't see that incredibly often. Well, I suppose that's okay. Alrighty, so yep, you got your G10 scale back here. And hey, at least it is real carbon fiber instead of a little sticker, but yeah, it's not the best in the world here. You can see it's got steel bearings on it. And of course, the weird grease that a lot of these come with. Hey, it looks like a D-shape, at least liner lock there, so that's nice. Now for this guy, yep, it's got some grease in there, and then this is like green looking kind of stuff going on up here. It's probably residue from manufacturing process of the handles or something like that. So yeah, I will certainly clean this guy up a bit. It's got some weight relieving skeletonization going on there, and you can kind of see it's marked up a little bit on a couple of those areas, but it's internal. I don't really give a shit. Yeah. So they do have a really nice polish to liners. That's kind of a nice thing to see. Not a lot of people do that. I mean, you're not really seeing it, so it really doesn't matter all that much. Yep, there was some more of that green stuff on the ceramic or the steel detent ball there. might as well just clean everything. Yeah, full size or full throw for the D-shaped pivot. That is certainly a plus. Makes me happy whenever companies actually do that. This shows they care a little bit more to the actual customer and the ease of maintenance instead of some companies like Spyderco, let's say, that for a long time permanently Loctited knives together. And I'm like, well, you don't really need to ever get inside there, so we don't really care what it looks like inside as long as it actually works correctly. They've since changed a lot of their ways with that. Something I did notice, I do see it on quite a few knives. Let's see if I... Yeah, fighting with the light. Yeah, you can probably see it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. It's got a little bit of a burn there to it. But unlike CJRB, who generally does that, there's no burr on here whatsoever. So, hey, that's nice. Generally, if a knife is kind of funky out of the factory, like a little grindy kind of feeling, I generally won't open these guys up right away and try to, immediately fix everything. But this guy was fine, and I was interested kind of what was going on the inside there. Yep, here's a G10 backspacer. Very minimalist, but it looks like it works. Slide that guy back in place. I'm going to apply me some KPL, just a touch. Just a touch there. This guy, I cleaned out all the strangeness from there, but I do want to put the stop pin back in. This guy is actually milled a little bit on each side. It's not just a straight pin, which it works. So yeah, there's that. I'll go ahead and get just a couple of drops going on there. Spin it around a little bit. Add a little bit there, and then that to the detent hole. Obviously no detent track sort of thing. That's it's not really common for a lot of companies, budget or otherwise. So nothing to see there. Aha. I realized I swapped the pivot around. I actually did that intentionally because they look the same on both sides, and that's just kind of the way that I wanted to have that happen. Generally I will throw some Loctite on there, and I'll probably do that in the near future here. But just for the purposes of throwing this thing back together, I don't mind so much. So, come here, little screw. There we go. Alright, everything else is T6. Swap my bit. No problems at all with that going back in. And, well, here, I will close the blade because I don't really want it to face me while I'm trying to screw this back in here. But yeah, I do like clips to be set into the handle scales, and I personally prefer that. Unless you want to do something crazy like mount it from the top, which I've seen a few companies do. I think the CRKT CEO does something. Well, no, they don't do that with a clip. They do that with yay. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and deploy this guy. And yeah, there's no blade play. Maybe we want to try and loosen that detent just a little tiny bit. Or pivot, whatever. Nope, there's some blade play there. Just a little tiny bit. There we go. So yeah, still nice and not quite drop shutty, but the wiggle shut. So yeah, this is kind of interesting. I've never heard of the company before. It probably is one of those random fly-by-night kind of things, but at least they seem like they're doing good work. I mean, the carbon fiber certainly, as I'd pointed out, does have voids, which I don't know, take it or leave it kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily bother me, but you know, it certainly might bother you. The flipper tab, fairly small. It's got some jumps up there. Works quite all right. You can fail it because the detent isn't super incredibly strong, but that's perfectly fine with me. Yep. As far as its performance, I'm not sure yet, as I just kind of picked this up. This is more of a first impression kind of thing. And I don't think I've seen much talk or reviews about these things yet. So, yeah, I'll probably go ahead and try and do a little bit of cut testing on it and see if it kind of lines up with my D2 results that I've gotten so far. One last thing that I will say is for the liner side here, you can see the handle scale sticks up proud of the liner there. And it's actually a little uncomfortable where that kind of interfaces with your hand right at, your knuckle crease. It's not the end of the world, but it's certainly something where I might think about actually kind of taking that down a little bit to at least marry with the liner there. Yeah, that's kind of the first impressions of this Samior blade. It's got a pretty generic clip, pretty much unlabeled other than their logo on the front. So, yeah, hope for the best and hope that it actually performs decently. Yep, so there you go. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me. As always, I appreciate y'all, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, yo.